Assalamu alaikum dear students, welcome to all of you. क्लास 12th इकोनॉमिक्स का पेपर ए का आज का जो हमारा टॉपिक है दैट इज़ बिहेवियर ऑफ फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट, वेरिएबल कॉस्ट एंड टोटल कॉस्ट. Behavior of fixed cost, variable cost and total cost is explained with the help of the given table. First look at this table. On the left hand column, extreme left hand column is given output. Then the next column we have fixed cost. In the third column we have variable costs, and in the right hand column we have total cost. As we know, the total cost is a combination of fixed cost plus variable cost. We will first study the behavior of these three types of costs: fixed cost, variable cost and total cost. When our level of output is 0, fixed cost is still positive, that is fixed cost is 10, variable cost is 0 and total cost is 10. Now total cost is 10 because the fixed cost is 10, because total cost is the composition of fixed cost and variable cost. Therefore total cost will be 10. Variable cost is 0 because as we know that variable cost varies directly with the scale of output, with the level of output. If output is 0, variable cost will be 0. If output increases, variable cost will increase. If output decreases, variable cost will decrease. If output falls to 0, variable cost will also fall to 0. Fixed cost, on the other hand, will remain positive even if our level of output is 0, because we have to incur these fixed costs before starting our production process. Now as we increase the level of output from 0 to 1, total fixed cost remains same throughout the level of output. Throughout this level of output from 0 to 6, our fixed costs remain same, but variable costs increase. As we increase the level of output, variable costs increase. When we produce first unit of the output, variable cost is 10. When we increase 2 units, variable cost is 18. When we produce 3 units, to variable cost is 24. And when we produce 4 units, variable cost is 28. And when we produce 5 units, variable cost is 32, and it's so on. When we produce 6th unit, variable cost is increasing to 38. Now total cost is the summation of variable cost plus fixed cost. Now when we are producing first unit of the output, variable cost is 10, fixed cost is 10, total cost is 20. In the same way, when we are producing 2 units of the output, variable cost is 18, fixed cost is 10, total cost is 28. Up to the 6th unit of the output, when we are producing 6 units of the output, our fixed cost remains same throughout the level of output. Variable cost increases to 38 when we are producing 6 units of the output. Total cost therefore will be 38 plus 10 is equal to 48. Now you can look at this diagram which explains the behavior of these three types of costs. Now TFC curve is vertical straight line parallel to x-axis. Sorry, horizontal straight line. I'm sorry for total fixed cost curve. Total fixed cost curve is a horizontal straight line parallel to axis which remains same. It shows that total fixed costs remain same throughout the level of output, from 0 to 6. Now this equation, you can look at this equation of total cost. Total cost is the function of total cost is the summation of total fixed cost plus total variable cost. TFC is constant at all levels of output. Total fixed cost, as we know, total variable cost increases as output increases. Total cost curve is parallel to total cost curve is parallel to total variable cost curve. It shows that the difference between total cost curve and total variable cost is constant. Now this total fixed cost curve, TFC line, it is parallel to x-axis. It shows that total fixed cost remains same or constant at all levels of output from 0 to 6. Now this total cost curve, which is above the total variable cost curve, total cost curve is parallel to total variable cost. It remains parallel at all points to the total variable cost. Now you can see that total variable cost is 0 when output is 0, because it starts from point of origin. It means that when output is 0, total variable cost will also be 0, as it starts from point of origin. Now as we increase the level of output, total variable cost also increases, and total cost karu is above the total variable cost karu. Now this difference between total variable cost and total cost karu is the difference of total fixed cost, because in total cost we are also including another component apart from total variable cost, that is the component of total fixed cost. Therefore total cost karu is above the total variable cost karu. And there is these two curves are parallel to each other, and total cost curve is above the total variable cost. Total variable एक तो total cost में total variable cost है और दूसरा component जो इसमें है that is total fixed cost. Therefore total cost curve lies above the total variable cost curve. In table 3, total cost is found as the sum total of total fixed cost and total variable cost as we know it. With increase in output, total cost is also increasing. When output is 0, total cost is 10, because fixed cost is 10, although variable cost is 0. But total cost is the combination of fixed cost and variable cost. And therefore total cost में जो fixed cost का component आएगा, इसलिए production अगर 0 भी होगी तो भी total cost जो है that will be positive. When output increases to 6 units, total cost goes up to 48, that is 38 of variable costs plus 10 of fixed costs, because fixed cost remains constant throughout this level of output. In figure 3, units of output are shown on x-axis. You can see on this diagram, on diagram 3, units of output are shown on x-axis, that is output, units of output, and total variable cost, total fixed cost, and total cost curve. These three variables are shown on y-axis. These three costs are shown on y-axis, and costs are on y-axis. Total fixed cost shows that total TFC curve shows total fixed cost. TVC shows total variable cost, and TC shows total cost. Total cost is the aggregate of total fixed cost and total variable cost. As you know, total cost is the combination or the summation or the aggregate of total fixed cost and total variable cost. Total cost करो begins from 10. यहाँ पर आप देखिए total cost करो जो है it begins from point 10. It begins from 10. The same way as the total fixed cost करो begins. यानी इनका जो point of origin है total fixed cost and total cost करो का वो है same, that is point 10 on y-axis. Because if the output is 0, even if the output is 0, total cost and total fixed cost will still be positive. Total fixed cost, as we know it, we have to bear these costs even before starting our production process. But total cost में जो component है total fixed cost का, इसलिए वो भी positive बनेगा. अगर सिर्फ हमारी production क्या है, अगर production 0 भी होगी तो भी ये total cost जो है it will be positive, because इसमें जो component total fixed cost का है वो positive होगा और जो variable cost का है वो 0 होगा अगर production 0 है. Total cost is the aggregate. Total cost curve begins from point 10 on the y-axis. This is because at 0 level of output, total fixed cost is 10, while total variable cost is 0. So that total cost is the summation of total fixed cost plus total variable cost is equal to 10. Note that the difference between total cost and total variable cost is constant, because of which total cost and total variable cost are parallel to each other. ये आप note कीजिए कि total variable cost and total cost curve and total variable cost जो है इनमें जो difference है it will remain constant, because the difference between these two will be total fixed cost, and total fixed cost as we know is remaining constant, because of which total cost and total variable cost are parallel to each other. Because of this, total cost curve and total variable cost curves are parallel to each other, and we know the difference between total cost and total variable cost is equal to total fixed cost, which is constant. Average cost. Now we will come to the average cost. Cost per unit of output is called average cost. Cost per unit of output is called average cost. Average cost is equal to total cost divided by units of output produced. Average cost is equal to total cost divided by output. AC is equal to average cost, TC is equal to total cost, Q is equal to quantity of output. In table 3, total cost of producing 6 units of a commodity is 48. In table 3, as we saw it, total cost for producing 6 units of output was 48 rupees. Accordingly, cost per unit or average cost will be 48 divided by 6. 48 divided by total cost for producing 6 units of a commodity was 48 rupees. Now per unit cost will be, or average cost will be 48 rupees divided by 6 units of output is equal to 8. Average cost is the cost per unit of output produced. It is also called unit cost of production. Now you can look at this table. It shows the behavior of total cost and average cost. Now when output is 0, total cost is still 10, because the total cost contains the component of total fixed cost. 10 डिवाइडेड बाई 0 इज इक्वल टू इन्फिनिटी। यहाँ पर हम देखते हैं, फिर इसमें हम इस वक्त हमारी प्रोडक्शन जो 0 ही है। व्हेन वी प्रोड्यूस फर्स्ट यूनिट ऑफ द आउटपुट टोटल कॉस्ट इज 20। When we produce first unit of the output, total cost is 20. Now this total cost contains the components of total variable cost and total fixed cost. 10 rupees जो है that is the component of fixed cost and 10 rupees is the component of total variable cost. 20 divided by 1 is equal to 20. For the first unit our average cost is 20. Now when we produce 2 units of the output, our total cost goes to 28. Average cost is equal to 28 divided by 2 is equal to 14. Average cost now has come down. Now when we are producing third unit of the output, 3 units of the output, our total cost is 34. 34 divided by 3 is equal to 11.3. When we are producing 4 units of the output, total cost is 38. 38 divided by 4 is equal to 38 divided by 4 is equal to 9.5. You can see that the average cost is continuously coming down. Now when we are producing 5 units of the output, total cost is 48. 48 divided by 5 is equal to 8.4. And when we are producing 6 units of the output, 48 divided by 6 is equal to 8. Fixed and variable components of average cost. Now we will see the fixed and variable components of the average cost. Average cost के फिर दो components इसमें होते हैं, fixed average fixed cost plus average variable cost. Average cost is the sum total of average fixed cost and average variable cost. Average cost is the summation of, or is the aggregate of average fixed cost and average variable cost. Average cost is equal to average AFC plus AVC. AFC means average fixed cost, AVC means average variable cost. Average fixed cost is the cost per unit. Average fixed cost is the fixed cost per unit of output. Average fixed cost is the fixed cost per unit of output. Average fixed cost is equal to total fixed cost divided by units of output. Table 5 and Figure 4 illustrates the behavior of average fixed cost. Table 5 shows that when 1 unit is produced, average fixed cost is 10. When 5 units are produced, then average fixed cost is 2. Average fixed cost goes on diminishing as output increases. As we know that the total fixed cost remains constant throughout the level of output. Therefore, as we increase the units of output average fixed cost is going to decline continuously, because the total costs or total fixed costs are not going to increase in any way. We will be dividing the same constant figure of total fixed cost by a greater and greater number. Therefore, its residue or its outcome will continuously decline. Now you can look at this table. As we produce first unit of the output, total fixed cost is 10. You know that the level of our fixed cost, total fixed cost remains same throughout the different levels, throughout the different level of output, or throughout our level of output, throughout this level of production, our fixed costs remain same. Now when we are producing first unit of the output, fixed cost is 10. 10 divided by 1 is equal to 10. Now when we are producing 2 units, to fixed cost is same. 10 divided by 2 is equal to 5. When 3 units, 10 divided by 3 is equal to 3.3. 10 divided by 4, 2.5. When we are producing 5 units, 10 divided by 5 is equal to 2. 10 divided by 6 is equal to 1.67. 10 divided by 7 is equal to 1.42. 10 divided by 8 is equal to 1.25. This shows that the average fixed cost continuously declines as we increase the level of output. If we increase it further, it will come to 1. If we increase the output further to more than 10, it will come to less than 1, or average fixed cost will be less than 1. You can see the depiction of this data, how this data has been plotted into a diagram or into a figure. Now AFC is a rectangular hyperbola. It shows that average fixed cost decreases as output increases. AFC is the average fixed cost curve. It declines continuously. You can see that it declines continuously. It shows that average fixed cost decreases. Average fixed cost decreases as output increases. It will decrease continuously as output increases. Average fixed cost multiplied by output. Average fixed cost multiplied by output at any level of output, at any average fixed cost multiplied by the units of output produced at any level of output is the same. अगर हम एवरेज फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट को मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे यूनिट्स ऑफ आउटपुट से, सपोज फॉर एग्जांपल अगर हम 2 को मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे जब हम 5 यूनिट्स ऑफ आउटपुट प्रोड्यूस करते हैं, 2 इंटू 5 इज इक्वल टू 10। अगर हम 4 को मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे जब हम 4 यूनिट्स प्रोड्यूस करते हैं आउटपुट के, उस वक्त हमारा एवरेज फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट है दैट इज 2.5। 2.5 इंटू 4 इज इक्वल टू 10। दिस मीन्स दैट एवरेज फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट मल्टीप्लाइड बाय द यूनिट्स ऑफ आउटपुट प्रोड्यूस्ड एट एनी लेवल ऑफ आउटपुट इज द सेम, इट विल रिमेन सेम थ्रू आउट द लेवल ऑफ आउटपुट। अगर हम किसी भी जगह पर किसी भी लेवल ऑफ आउटपुट पर एवरेज फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट को मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे यूनिट्स ऑफ आउटपुट से उस लेवल पर, तो उसका आउटकम जो है वो सेम आएगा, बिकॉज एवरेज फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट मल्टीप्लाइड बाय आउटपुट इज इक्वल टू टोटल फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट। तो ये बराबर आएगा टोटल फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट के, विच इज कांस्टेंट एट ऑल लेवल्स ऑफ आउटपुट। दस 4 multiplied by 2.5 is equal to 10 and 8 multiplied by 1.25 is equal to 10. In figure 4, AFC shows average fixed cost. This curve slopes downwards to the right. You can see that this curve slopes downwards from left to right. Downward slope of average fixed cost shows that average fixed cost decreases, output increases. Downward slope जो है AFC curve का, it shows that average fixed cost continuously decreases as output increases. It is important to know that average fixed cost curve is a rectangular hyperbola. It is, ये भी आप देखिए कि ये जो curve है, it is a rectangular hyperbola. It means that average fixed cost multiplied by the units of output produced, which is equal to will be equal to total fixed cost, will be equal to total fixed cost at all levels of output, is constant at all levels of output. It means that total average fixed cost multiplied by units of output produced is constant at all levels of output. AFC, average fixed cost curve, is rectangular hyperbola. If we take any point on the average fixed cost curve and multiply the average fixed cost at that point with the corresponding level of output, the product will be equal to total fixed cost. It should be same at all levels. This shows that total fixed cost remains constant at all levels of output. फिर हम देखते हैं दूसरा कंपोनेंट जो है एवरेज कॉस्ट का, वो है एवरेज वेरिएबल कॉस्ट. एवरेज वेरिएबल कॉस्ट इज द वेरिएबल कॉस्ट पर यूनिट ऑफ आउटपुट. Average variable cost is equal to total variable cost divided by units of output produced. Now we can illustrate this with table 6 and figure 5. Table 6 shows that up to 6th unit of output, average variable cost falls, but from 7th unit it begins to rise. Now you can see this in this table. When we are producing first unit of the output, variable cost is 10, average variable cost is also 10. 10 divided by 1 is equal to 10. When we are producing 2 units of the output, our variable cost, total variable cost is 18. Average variable cost is equal to 18 divided by 2 is equal to 9. When we are producing 3 units of the output, our total variable cost is 24. Average variable cost is equal to 24 divided by 3 is equal to 8. इसी तरह से आप देखिए up to units of output, when we are producing a 6th unit of the output, up to 6 units of the output, our average variable cost is continuously declining. When we are producing 6 units of the output, total variable cost is equal to 38. Average variable cost is equal to 38 divided by 6 is equal to 6.3. Now when we are producing 7th unit of the output, our total variable cost is 46. 46 divided by 7 is equal to 6.6. Now when we are producing 8th unit of the output, total cost is total variable cost is 62. 62 divided by 8 is equal to 7.7. Now the total, you can see the average variable cost now starts to rise after the 6th unit of the output. Table 6 shows that up to 6th unit of output, average variable cost falls, but from 7th unit it begins to rise. Falling average variable cost is in accordance with increasing return to factor. Now if the average variable cost is falling, it shows the increasing return to factor. While rising average variable cost, if the average variable cost starts to rise, it shows diminishing returns to a factor. As we know, the output, as initially the output expands, initially when the output expands, increasing returns to a factor may operate, but eventually diminishing returns to a factor must prevail or must set in. This is what the law of variable proportions tells us. यानी initially जब production expand हो जाती है तो उस वक्त हमें increasing returns यानी हासिल हो जाते हैं, returns to a variable factor. But when we increase the level of production beyond a certain point, eventually diminishing returns to a variable factor must set in or must prevail or must occur. यानी diminishing returns will occur after a certain point of production has been reached. This is the law, this is what the law of variable proportion, और यही हमें law of variable proportions में पढ़ाया जाता है और यही हम उसमें पढ़ते हैं जैसे कि हमने ये पीछे पढ़ा था. Now अब हम इसी डेटा को प्लॉट करेंगे एवरेज वेरिएबल कॉस्ट का जो डेटा है टेबल में दिया हुआ, इसी को अब हम प्लॉट करेंगे. यहाँ प्लॉट किया हुआ है यहाँ पर ये डायग्राम में आप देख सकते हैं कि एवरेज वेरिएबल कॉस्ट जो है इट डिक्लाइन इज कंटिन्यूसली. On x-axis we are showing units of output, on y-axis we are showing average variable cost. You can see as we increase the level of output, total average variable cost continuously declines. This curve is U-shaped. This curve is U-shaped. Initially when the output increases from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, 5, 6, average variable cost declines. But beyond 6, when we increase our production beyond the unit 6, yani more than 6 units, when we increase production by more than 6 units, or when we are producing 7th unit or 8th unit, you can see now the average variable cost curve now starts to turn upwards. Now it starts to rise again. Therefore, it forms a U-shaped curve. Average variable cost curve is U-shaped. This is in accordance with the law of variable proportions. We show that initially when the production starts in the initial stages, production starts to expand, but we witness the increasing returns to scale. Then after a certain period of time or after a certain level of production has been reached, ultimately diminishing returns, the variable factor must start to occur. Now in figure 5, output is shown on x-axis and average variable cost on y-axis. The shape of average variable cost is like U up to the 6th unit of output. It is falling. It means as output increases, average variable cost tends to fall. The curve starts rising from 7th unit. जैसे कि आप यहाँ पर देख सकते हैं कि now the curve starts to rise upwards. Now it has from 7th unit it has now the positive slope. Curve starts rising from 7th unit, which means that average variable cost begins to rise. The average variable cost curve makes a U because of the operation of law variable proportions. Because of the law variable proportions. In the early stages of production of a commodity, average variable cost tends to fall. Then gradually it tends to rise. It means that in the initial stages of production, we are witnessing increasing returns to scale. But after a certain stage of production has been reached, diminishing returns to scale or diminishing returns to the variable factor must set in or must occur. Average cost is the summation of average fixed cost and average variable cost. Average cost is the summation of average fixed cost and average variable cost. Average cost is a vertical summation. Average cost जो है total average cost is the vertical summation of average fixed cost plus average variable cost. आप यहाँ पर ये देख सकते हैं डायग्राम में, यहाँ पर आप देखिए in this diagram यानी or figure 6, on x-axis we are showing units of output, and on y-axis we are showing average cost, average variable cost, and average fixed cost. You can see the average cost is the average cost curve lies above the average variable cost and average fixed cost. First, look at the average fixed cost curve. Average fixed cost curve continuously has a declining slope or a negative slope. It declines continuously because the average cost remains constant, and as we increase the units of output, average cost continuously goes on declining. Now, look at the average variable cost. Average variable cost initially declines, then it starts to rise again. Same is the case with average cost curve, which lies above the average fixed cost and average variable cost, because it is the summation of these two curves. Average cost curve initially declines, then it also starts to increase, or it starts to rise upwards or has positive slope. Now look at this diagram. Up to level of output OL, or at the level of output OL, average cost is equal to LS, or average cost. देखिए आप at the level of output OL, average cost is equal to LS. Average variable cost is equal to LT. Average variable cost is equal to LT, or average fixed cost is equal to LK. Average fixed cost is equal to LK. Now LK plus LT is equal to LS. LT plus LK is equal to LS. Now this is called vertical summation. This is called vertical summation of these two curves. What is vertical summation? It is vertically adding up the values of average fixed cost. Vertically हम add up करते हैं average fixed cost and average variable cost curves को at different levels of output. Different levels of output पे हम vertically add up करते हैं average fixed cost और average variable cost curve. Thus when output is equal to OL, thus when output is OL, average variable cost is equal to LT and average fixed cost is LK. LK. Average cost therefore is equal to average cost is equal to average variable cost plus average fixed cost. Average variable cost was equal to LT and average fixed cost was is equal to LK. LT plus LK is equal to LS. Now this LS. This LS. Now when level of output is L2, likewise when output is OL1, when output is OL1, when output is OL1, average at that point when output is OL1, average cost will be equal to L1S1. L1S1. When output is OL1, average cost will be equal to L1S1. Now average cost is the summation of average variable cost and average fixed cost. Now you can look at this. When output is OL1, average variable cost is equal to L1T1. Average fixed cost is equal to L1T1. Now average cost will be equal to average cost will be equal to average cost total average cost will be equal to L1T1 plus L1T1 is equal to L1S1. देखिए आप यहाँ पर L1T1 plus फिर से हम करेंगे L1T1 is equal to L1S1. ये हमने क्यों किया इस तरह से L1T1 हमने दोनों टाइम क्यों ये लिखा? क्योंकि यहाँ पर एवरेज फिक्स्ड कॉस्ट एंड एवरेज वेरिएबल कॉस्ट दीज टू आर इक्वल टू ईच अदर बिकॉज एवरेज वेरिएबल कॉस्ट curve has cut the average fixed cost curve at point T1. Now at this point these two costs have become equal to each other. At this point you can see as the average variable cost is equal to average fixed cost, therefore average variable cost will be equal to L1T1, average fixed cost will be also equal to L1T1, L1T1 plus L1T1. दो बार हम इसको वर्टिकली समेशन यानी इसको हम वर्टिकली समेशन इसका करेंगे, एडअप इसको करेंगे तो ये बनता है L1S1, therefore average cost will be L1S1. At point OL2, at point OL2, if our output is OL2, our average variable cost, average fixed cost will be L1, if our level of output is OL2, at this level of output OL2, average fixed cost will be L2T2, average variable cost will be L2K1. देखिए आप यहाँ पर when output is OL2, average variable cost will be L2K1, L2K1. Average fixed cost will be L2T2, L2T2. Average cost will be equal to L2K1 plus L2T2 is equal to L2S2. देखिए average cost will be equal to L2S2. आप देख सकते हैं कि पहले जो था हमारा average cost that was LS, then it declined to L1S2. Now it has started to rise. Now it has started to increase L2S2. As is clear from figure 6, short period average cost is U-shaped. आप यहाँ पर ये देख सकते हैं कि average cost curve जो हमारी है, it is a U-shaped curve. First it starts to decline, then it starts to again rise up. It is because of the law of variable proportions. It is also because of the law of variable proportions, as we saw in the case of the average variable cost curve. In the initial stages of production, we face the increasing returns, then ultimately the diminishing returns start to occur. It is because of the law of variable proportions. It tends to fall owing to increasing returns to a factor in the initial stages of production. It tends to stabilize owing to constant returns to a factor. Then it stabilizes or has a now you can see between S1 and S2, it has a we can say a flat stretch. Now it starts to stabilize because of the constant returns to factor. It tends to stabilize owing to constant returns to factor, and it tends to rise owing to diminishing returns to factor. Ultimately, when the diminishing returns to variable factor or diminishing returns to a factor start to occur, we face a rising average cost curve. The average cost curve starts to rise once the diminishing returns to a factor start to occur. Now this was our topic for the day, and our next topic will be marginal cost.